Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hey folks, you're listening to the Dork Forest, or about to. The websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com, if you like determiners, FamilyPetAncestry.com, if you like jokes, because that just leads you to JackieCation.com. Those are the websites. The credits, Mike Rickberg composed and sang that song you just heard. He sang it with his wife, Sarah Cohen. He'll sing the song at the end, his words to the Mexican hat dance. Patrick Brady fixes this audio. Vilmos fixes my website, JackieCation.com. There's several ways to support the show if you want to support the show. Most basic way, the PayPal button. Donate. Knock yourselves out. There's a PayPal button on JackieCation.com and DorkForest.com. You can also Venmo me at Jackie@JackieCation.com, where you can also email me and say things. Another way to support the show, pretty painless, the Amazon button. On both JackieCation.com and DorkForest.com, there's a link, a banner to the Amazon page where you just order like normal. Doesn't cost you extra. It just supports the show. There is also merch, very direct, at JackieCation.com, a whole merch situation. You can get Ranger of the Dork Forest t-shirts. You can get Dork Forest t-shirts. You can get my stand-up comedy t-shirts. All the t-shirts are union made here in the United States of America, so they run a little big because they're made by Americans. There's also my CDs and my DVD. All of that is available digitally as well, but if you want hard copies, you go to JackieCation.com, the merch page. Not available on the merch page are a couple of enamel pins that I haven't added to the merch page yet, and they are Meat Shield pins and Spooky Reading Girl pins. Email me, Jackie@JackieCation.com, if you want those pins. There's also a calendar of my stand-up comedy. There are premium episodes of The Dork Forest, which are episodes that I've taped live, and they cost me a couple of bucks to make, so I charge you a couple of bucks for them. So if you've run through all of the free ones, go to thedorkforest.bandcamp.com and get a live premium episode if you'd like. The YouTube page is on fire. That's right. There's teaser clips on the Jackie Cation Dork Forest YouTube page, but there's also the entire episode, the whole episode of The Dork Forest are now uploaded to YouTube. So if you can't listen to iTunes or whatever at work, you can just have this on in the background with a beautiful picture of the guest and the logo. Enough already. Let's get into the show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Dork Forest. Oh my God, impromptu, beloved, returning guest. Clearly, frog in my throat. Welcome to the Dork Forest, Andy Ashcraft.
Well, hello. It's nice to be here.
You're sitting on your own couch.
I'm sitting on my own couch in my own living room with my own wife, and it's a blessing, honestly.
It's a delight. You came back, but I wanted to talk to you about GenCon.
Oh, yes.
And I thought, let's record it.
Right.
Because, people want to know.
It's true.
It was a dorky event.
It was very dorky.
You've been, this is your 4th year?
That's right. So GenCon is one of the biggest board game and tabletop game conventions in the U.S. It was me and about 60,000 other people descending on the...
Is it 60?
It's 60.
I thought it was 80, but
I thought it was 82.
I love that
I was corrected.
I love that. I'm sure you were.
Actually, it's 60, actually.
It's about 60. I have been, I believe, once.
Yes, I think you came with me one year because you had a comedy show.
I had work that week.
Right, in Indianapolis.
Right.
Which you had managed to make coincide with the con, which was awesome.
It was awesome. Never to be repeated, clearly, but so be it.
Well, you know.
Mm-hmm. So 60,000 people gather. It was a different kind of con because it's not standing in line to watch panels.
Right. I mean, there are a few of those sorts of things that you can do. I never do because I have games to play.
As do 58,000 other people.
Right. But I mean, they even have like there was a late night like burlesque show.
Right, but there's no
convention.
But there's no Infinity War.
No.
It's not like Comic-Con.
No. These are not people. These are not media people descending to hawk their wares to us.
It's blessedly just the board game industry.
It's just the board game
industry
and role-playing game industry.
That's there. is going to be the board game and role-playing industry.
That's right.
And notoriously not a pile of haircuts.
Right, and they're there to hawk their business too.
Right.
So
and find new games. And
right. So there's a big dealer's room with a ton of people giving demos for games that they want you to buy and.
Right, but here's my favorite part that you told me about is that it's literally just people looking to play a game.
Oh yeah, there's huge halls where you go into the hall and it's just rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of folding tables with cheap plastic tablecloths on them.
What if you're shy?
Well,
is there a place to just sign up?
There's nothing better than games for shy people because you don't have to come up with something to talk about.
No, but you do have to somehow approach a table.
Yeah, so there are events. There are some, I think, like 14,000 events that you can go online. You can look at the event list and you can sign up.
Okay.
And you get a ticket. And
okay.
you go and you present that ticket to the people running the game, and you're in.
Okay. And then you show up at the designated time and place.
Yep.
And they say, "Are you Beelzebub?" And you'll say, "I am." And they'll say, "Please sit, because we are going to play a game."
It's not even that complicated.
No?
Nope. They don't even know.
Oh, people running the game are just like, I hope someone shows up?
Yeah.
So if you're Beelzebub, you would go up and say,
"Here's my ticket.
Here's my ticket. This is where I come to play this game."
Right.
And then someone will verify that.
Yeah,
and you will sit
exactly.
and play that game.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that I don't, because sometimes I get self-conscious approaching people that are already seated playing a game.
Right.
Can I play?
Right.
Holy smokes! The nightmare reaction to that sentence.
Right. I mean, sometimes you'll go and you'll watch a demo, and then you'll say, and you'll think, I want to play this, but you have to wait until the demo's over, and then you jump into the next demo.
Okay,
and that's easy.
That's like,
and that's not even a ticket. That's just stand there and wait for them to get done showing the game.
That's putting your quarter up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
So that's easy.
That's easy. Now, so it's 60,000 people.
Yeah.
How big is the convention center? How many rooms are there?
Oh my gosh.
Is it like a block?
It's like 3 blocks long.
Okay.
And then there's stuff that goes on. They've expanded out of the convention center, and all the local hotels have role-playing games going on in the conference rooms.
Oh, okay.
And then they also expanded out. There's a big section of things that happen in the local stadium that's also attached to the convention center.
What's at the stadium? A sporting event?
Well, I mean, it's normally sporting events.
Yeah.
But you just basically get they've taken that whole center area of it and turned it into more game space.
Oh, wow. Holy smokes.
Right. I mean, the convention is so big, I didn't even get to that building.
Right.
In 4 days that I was there.
Right. Right, because you went on Wednesday. And it officially starts on Thursday, right?
And ends on Sunday.
And you came home on Mondays.
And I came home on Monday.
Because you wanted the whole day on Sunday.
Right. Because I find that there's games to be played after the convention is over.
Oh.
If you hang out in the hotel lobbies.
Oh, right. Because people are just kind of milling about.
Yeah.
Looking for someone to play a game with.
Right. And in this case, I actually organized.
Okay. Because you went to first playtest.
Yeah, there's one room that I really like called the First Exposure Playtest Hall, run by a company called Double Exposure.
Okay.
And they do such a great job. They run conventions on the East Coast as well.
Oh, okay.
Basically, they run game designer conventions on the East Coast.
Oh, wow.
And this hall is where you sign up as a game designer and you can bring a prototype. Mm-hmm. And they give you a certain number of slots and time slots to run your prototype. And then they make sure that you have people sitting at your table.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, that's kind of amazing.
Right. They do that. They basically have this organized thing where people come in and get a number and then
a ticket
and then they send people to your table when you need people to play.
Okay. Wow.
Which is super cool.
Okay.
And yeah, so I ran playtests of Time Empire there, and then I also organized one with one of the JoCo
someone
cruise
from
guys.
the JoCo cruise?
Yeah, Andy Aronson. Nice
Okay.
guy.
Oh, I met him.
Also another game designer guy.
Oh, cool.
And some of his friends to play test Time Empire after the con.
Right. So how many times? Because you have this game that you've been working on. It's a board
That's right.
game. And
3rd-year anniversary, by the way, of me working on this game. Because it was pitched to me by Ed Baraff exactly 3 years ago, GenCon.
Murder of Crows. That guy.
That guy.
And Sibling Trouble.
Siblings Trouble, and
Today, this time he had a new game as well, right?
that's right. He's got a handful of prototypes that he's working on because he's publishing now.
Right. And
So-
he's published a couple too.
Right, he publishes through his own company called Pencil First Games.
Pencil First. And but Time Empire it's one of these. It's like a Settlers kind of game where there's strategy.
Yeah, it's a worker placement, area control, time travel strategy game.
It's I mean, I think of it as a time travel strategy game.
Right. All those other things are
game designer
for
talk, which is good. I mean, and people
for
love
the nuanced game designer.
right for the dorks who know about game design.
That's right.
So worker replacement.
Worker placement.
Worker placement.
That's right. So
Okay.
That's a style of game where you have a small number of guys.
Right.
And when you take an action, you take one of your guys and you place him on a thing that gives you that does the action.
Okay. So this damn thing is clicking. But fuck it. So I know there's been some cursing.
No
So you get a certain number of meeples. You buy these through like whatever. There's places you can go, and you go to the dollar store a fair amount.
Not in the game, but yes, I do go to the dollar store to get stuff.
Right. I currently hate these microphones.
Oh.
And I want you to talk.
Okay. How about now?
Let's hear it.
Better? Is this better?
It is good. I can hear me.
It is well good. It is well good.
It is well good.
It is well good.
I will, we're not using the mic stands because I got lazy, and I apologize. And the Dork Forest, still free. Live it up, you guys. So
we have a very busy day ahead of us.
Literally the only day I've got.
Right, and the only day.
And you say that sarcastically, but it is.
No.
But it is sadly true. So I would like many days in a row of just lying here. And
Yes.
That would be my dorkdom. Would be the lying down.
Just lying down.
The lying down.
Napping. Reading some comics. Playing some Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Sure, that would be great. So you playtested Time Empire like 4 times.
5 times.
5 times. Because it was Thursday morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and then Sunday night.
Yep.
That's great. So 4 in that first exposure room.
That's right.
And 5 with people you met.
Right. And it went very well. And I got lots of notes, and I have lots of ideas on how to fix some things and change some things.
All right.
And Ed agreed with me that we're nearly there. We're nearly there. We need to start thinking about art style and art production and how it's all gonna work together. But he's got big plans for it.
Good. Did
Yeah.
he have a good time playing it this time?
Well, he didn't play. He just came and watched.
Right.
He came and sat
He's
in on
played different iterations.
He's played different iterations of it. He came and sat in on the first exposure playtest hall playtests. And
all
watched.
of them?
I can't remember whether he was there exactly every day, but he was there most days. He probably was there 3 days.
Because you had an early slot.
I did. I went 8 a.m. 8 a.m. And people were worried. They're like, "Are you gonna have enough players?"
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 60,000 people at this convention. I need 4 of them.
That's true. Once a day, 4 people.
Right.
And like Joko, there's like 2 different kinds of people who go to these things. They're the people who stay up super late, drinking single malt whiskey, playing Jenga and other strategy games.
It's true.
And then there's people who go to bed at like 10 and get up at 6 in the morning. And
right.
And
or there are people who have children that get them up at 6 in the morning.
Who get them up, and then they're
like, well, let's go do something fun today.
Right.
Especially on a weekend. Let's go to this game convention.
Oh, okay. So did you have kids?
I have had. This time I didn't.
Okay.
Because the game is more strategery.
Right.
But in previous years, I have had kids.
Okay.
Kids and moms and kids and dads and...
Just kids and kids.
Yeah.
Didn't you have kids and kids and then the dad just bailed? He was like, here, take care of my kids.
Yeah, that was... that happens.
Right.
That happens more at the local conventions than at GenCon, I think.
Okay.
Because GenCon is so big, I don't think you want to abandon... your kids could get lost. You could lose your kids in a crowd.
Yeah, in 60,000.
Yeah.
You're definitely... Yeah, you should keep them on a leash.
Yep.
Some sort of leash. So it's a work replacement. Now, why would they name it that when it's hard to say work?
It's really not hard to say worker
placement. There's too many R's and P's and work replacement.
No,
it's worker placement.
Yes,
and so you take a meeple, you place them somewhere on the timeline.
Yep.
And there's
and something happens,
right?
And then at the end of the round, once everybody's placed their agents, their time traveling agents,
right?
The timeline resolves, and time flows forward, and there's sort of a domino effect of events that can sort of cascade to the present.
Oh, right.
And then at the end of the game, everything that has cascaded to the present is what scores. So you want things to basically start filling up your empire in the...
And right now it's 4 rounds.
It's 3.
It's 3 rounds. Oh, right. Okay, so you go around, like if you get 2 or 3 agents, each person has 2 or 3 agents to play with.
That's right.
You place an agent, wherever you place them, you either get something or affect something.
That's right.
And it's instantaneous.
That's right. And then at the end of the round...
Something else happens.
Those agents sort of move down. They're living through history.
Right.
And they move down and they collect...
Very Cage Baker.
Yeah, very Cage Baker. Mm-hmm. Which, those books, we love those books.
I love those books.
They live through history and they learn about history. So they get these cubes, these black cubes, history cubes that represent knowledge.
Oh, right.
History.
Right. There's knowledge. There's artifacts that they can.
The artifacts have been renamed as discoveries.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So you can use your knowledge to make discoveries, and then discoveries are things that show up. Like you make a discovery in the past, and voila, it's in your empire in the present, and it scores. So those are good.
Yep.
And then after that, there's an event. Each age has a couple of events that can trigger. One of the 2 will trigger every round, based on how many agents have been played in that age, that space. And those events also cause things to ripple downstream.
Right. Wow. We played it, the last right before you went to GenCon.
That's right. We sort of had a last playtest before GenCon here.
Played with a couple of comics, Jared Logan and Kara Klenk.
Yep, had a great time. Kara Klenk winning. Kevin Flanagan swoops in for the and just works her at the end.
And just completely decimates her empire. But she was so close to winning. It was so funny that because she was like kind of psyched that she didn't know what she was doing, but she was winning. Because that's how it is with board games.
And she's a bit of a ringer too. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Win. I think that's a typical sort of thing for her.
Oh, is that? Oh, maybe that's how she plays games.
I think she might play them like, I don't really know how this game goes. Win.
Right, because Jared is there constantly playing games. So Kara plays games.
That's right.
And so she's like, I don't know how this game. She's a gamer.
She's a gamer. She knows.
She's gamer adjacent.
Right. And, I'm not falling for it.
And so we played that, and we played Bring Your Own Book.
Yes, and that was fun.
So, other than that,
I played a bunch of other games.
You played a bunch of other games. You played other people in the first exposure, or
I did.
Or did you just watch?
I actually did one. And I had planned to spend more time in the first exposure playtest hall, playing other people's games, but it turns out there's a lot to do.
Right.
And I didn't spend as much time, but I did play a playtest in there of a guy that they needed players. They needed role-playing game players. I am one of those.
Yes.
And
for a new role-playing game?
yeah. Well, it turns out it wasn't a new role-playing game. It was a new setting for D&D. So it was an ancient Greek myth setting, mythological setting. So
From Wizards of the Coast?
No, from a third party.
Okay.
And so we were basically playtesting centaurs and satyrs.
Okay.
And Egyptian jackal-headed people. And,
okay.
Basically different races and classes you could play in D&D.
But set in sort of ancient times.
Yep.
And it's not Wizards of the Coast, but did they use sort of the same? I mean, they all use the same sort of chart system, right?
Yeah. So it was for D&D. So Wizards of the Coast has opened up the license.
Oh, okay.
So other people can publish supplements and things using the D&D rules. Ah. And so that's what
5th edition rules?
Yes, 5th edition.
Okay. It's it makes me sound like I know things. It's
right.
kind of, and I do sort of know things.
You do know things.
I know things.
You know some things. You've been hanging around here long enough. You know some things.
I know some things.
You know some things. And so I played that, and then
what was your character?
I was. What was I?
Ancient Mesopotamian shaman.
I was a satyr. Warlock.
Yes, you are. You were a satyr warlock?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. So magic user.
Yep. Magic
and ranger?
usery.
Don't you think satyrs would have pretty good ranger skills?
They would, but there was somebody else playing a ranger.
Oh, okay.
And I think he was also a satyr, actually. Let me think as I think on it. I don't remember. There were 8 people at the table, and it was a 2-hour playtest, and they wanted us to create characters. So we didn't actually get a whole lot of time to play.
Right. Because creating characters is the hardest.
Well, I mean,
it can be fiddly.
It can be fiddly, right? And the guy who was running it did a pretty good job of making sure that we were like, stay on pace. You're like, don't get ahead of the group, because I don't want to explain these things 8 times.
Okay.
So by the end of it, we had he split us into 2 groups, and he ran basically 2 groups at the same time.
Oh, okay.
To try to get us in a little bit of an adventure, and we fought some undead things. And
did you run into Jared at all, Logan?
I did not.
Okay,
I know it. I forgot that he was there, and I never saw him.
Right, I just remembered that he was there because he loves role playing games as well.
Right.
I keep thinking, did you meet versions of yourself? Because you're really good at describing how to play games and keeping people sort of on task and saying, "I don't want to explain this 8 times."
Everybody there was basically a version of me. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you mean.
Fair enough.
I did play. So there's another role-playing game that I wanted to give a shout out to that I ended up playing with my friends Barack Blackburn and Mike Goudreau.
Okay.
I think I got his last name wrong. But anyways.
Okay.
And
so Barack and Mike.
Yep. And they're friends. They live on the East Coast, and I met them a handful of years ago at GenCon, and we've become friends, and so we try to play games together.
Nice.
At GenCon, and that's nice. And we played a game called Velvet Generation.
What is that?
And that was a game. It was a role-playing game set in 2070.
Okay.
And in 2070, music and the other arts have been outlawed because they're too subversive.
Dun dun dun.
So it's a dystopian future.
Right.
But
yep.
Aliens that live 100 light years from Earth started getting rock and roll from Earth.
And they kind of like it?
And they kind of liked it. Mm-hmm. And they, especially the sort of glam pop stuff. And so they've come to Earth as sort of tourists.
Looking for Bowie
and the Rolling Stones and others of that ilk. Mm-hmm. Not finding them because it's been 100 years.
Right.
And so they've started rock and roll bands.
The aliens have?
Yeah.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah, so we were playing...
aliens?
We were playing a rock and roll band partially made up of aliens.
Okay. Were you an alien?
I was not.
You were a human in the band.
I was a human guitarist. And the game had a really cool sort of cooperative dice-sharing mechanic for when you do things together, like when you play music together.
Oh, right.
Or when you fight together. So it had
or when you all try to get in the van at
or
once.
when you all try to get in the van at once. That almost happened.
I want that to happen.
We were so and so it's illegal. So there's
right. Oh, so you're sneaking around.
We are underground rock and roll bands,
right.
partially made up of Ziggy Stardust like aliens.
Oh my gosh.
And
wow.
It was really, really fun.
That sounds really fun. And did the aliens have like sort of superpowers compared to humans?
Kind of. They could slowly shapeshift.
Slowly. Oh, fair enough. All right.
They could sort of change their look and gender. They didn't really have gender in the same way that humans have gender.
Right.
So they could be kind of androgynous, and they could slowly morph the way that they.
How long did it take them to morph? Was it like an hour or was it days? It did not come up.
Unclear. Yeah.
Unclear. Did not come up.
Yeah.
Well, that would have come up a lot quicker. I was like, what? Nice.
But mostly they didn't. I mean,
mostly they just stayed looking like they got to look.
No, mostly they didn't have powers.
Oh, okay. And how long did you play that game?
We played that game for 4 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And it was really fun. There was the three of us and a couple other people.
Uh-huh.
And we were the Chicago Lemon Drops. No, Chicago Lemon Bars.
Lemon bars.
Bars,
of course. Not hard candy. We're talking brownies.
Right.
Okay.
And we had a rival. We had Johnny Snot. Our rival Johnny Snot.
Yeah.
And his band, he tried to get he took over he called in sick for us for a gig.
Yeah.
Which is not okay.
Oh, sabotage.
Sabotaged. And so we went and re-sabotaged his gig and took over for him. And did really well.
Blues Brothers. That's how they got that one gig.
That's right.
And then
we had that Blues Brothers moment
where you had drank all the profits. I wonder.
That's right. And then this other band that was much more popular than us. They had a big fight and amongst themselves,
like bands
and
do.
Their lead singer stormed off. And then the next day, we get a call from the club organizer guy.
Yeah.
Underground illegal club organizer guy saying, "Hey, that guy stormed off and went drinking with a bunch of people, and now he's like out in these suburbs 45 minutes away and has no way to get back. Will you guys go and get him?"
I love that the adventures are just kind of, that's how bands live. That guy ended up hanging out with a bunch of townies, and now he's outside of town, and someone has to go get him.
And somebody has to go get him.
So did Barack and Mike make the game?
No. This was we all just signed up to play this game.
Oh, it was somebody else's game.
Yeah, somebody else's game.
And was it a playtest or is it out?
It was sort of a playtest, and it's something that's been kickstarted.
Okay, so it's a Kickstarter.
It's a Kickstarter game, but it hasn't been published officially yet. So it's in the middle of getting published.
Are there I know there are, but in the world of Kickstarter famous people, in the world of board games,
yes,
did you get to meet any of them?
I did not.
All right.
There's a few of them, and I think that I could probably get an introduction to them if I tried through people that I know.
Right, like two degrees of separation.
Yeah. I'm sure Ed knows all of them.
Oh, right, because Ed Baraff does his own Kickstarter. He's probably kickstarting something right now.
Very soon. Very soon he's going to kickstart a game that's really, really very good.
That you got to play test as well, or
I didn't. I play tested this one earlier at Protospiel.
Oh, okay.
Back in April, but this is one where you have a little team of sort of anthropomorphic fox adventurers, and you're fighting giant monsters.
Oh, you have a team of foxes, like a kit?
Yeah.
And then the kit had like Mice Templar off to fight monsters?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God,
and
that's
one player
awesome.
plays the monster.
Okay.
And one player plays the group of foxes.
Oh, it's a two-player game.
It's a two-player asymmetrical game. Asymmetrical meaning that the players they don't have the same set of powers.
Okay.
Like the big giant has a totally different set of powers.
Oh, I have That Godzilla game.
Yeah, you have the Godzilla game, which is very similar.
Yeah. He listens to the Dork Forest. I can't remember his name. Well, shout out.
That
Godzilla game, Jackie@JackieCation.com, if you want me to send you an email reminding you where you can get that. Because I like that game.
Yeah.
Someone
fun.
plays the Gamera-like Godzilla character.
That's right.
That stomps out of the ocean.
Right. And another player plays all of the army.
The army and the townspeople
that's trying to stop the
Toyota.
Godzilla monster.
Yeah. Of Toyota? Tokyo. Which is where Toyota came from. And I have a Toyota. Weeding off, coming back to it. Now, you also did a show.
I did do a show.
Andy Ashcraft, performer.
I basically stepped in. They contacted you and said,
"Are you going to GenCon?
Are you going to GenCon?" So it's Wonder Dave.
Oh yeah, Wonder Dave.
Wonder Dave.
I did his shows up at. They always do cons, and I did one of their cons in San Francisco.
Yeah, they're a bunch of basically comedy nerd comics.
Yeah,
and they go around as their group is called the Comedio.
It's Comedio with a K, Komedio,
right?
I believe, and they do cosplay and they do sketch and they do stand up.
He was dressed as Wario.
Which is the bad guy from Mario Brothers? Uh-huh. Okay. And
they had 3 shows in a row. They did this thing called Nerd Rage, the Great Debates.
Right.
Where they debate topics on stage.
Right.
Nerdy topics.
Nerdy topics is like Batman versus Superman or whatever.
Right. And then they had this show, which was basically a spoken word storytelling-y sort
literary
of show, literary pop.
That's what it was called. Yeah, literary pop.
And then they followed that with an actual comedy show,
just full on stand up,
full on straight up stand up.
Yeah, there you go.
And so they invited you to do this show, and you were not there, so you could not make it. And they're like, "Well, could you send your husband?" I don't know.
He writes. He's entertaining. And did you have fun?
I did have fun.
What did you write about? Do you want to read it?
Yeah, I can read it. I've got it right here. You've not heard it yet.
I have not heard it.
And you feature prominently in this story, by the way.
What?
Yep, it's true.
Who doesn't want to be featured?
Mic down.
Who doesn't want to be featured prominently?
Set your mic down and be an audience member. Here we go. My wife is a stand-up comic. I am not. She says that I am comedy adjacent. That means that I am frequently nearly funny. I guess that's true. If I get one laugh out of you in the next 5 minutes, I'll call it a win. She bought me this shirt. It has bananas all over it. I love this shirt. She will sometimes hide a $5 bill in the pocket when it's hanging in the closet, and then whisper earnestly to me, "There's money in the banana shirt." She goes up to toddlers, looks deep in their eyes, and says, "You will see me 3 more times." She's funny. See, I get a laugh with her jokes. I am a game designer, shocking, here at GenCon. I fell in love with role-playing games when I was 13 years old. D&D, Champions, Star Frontiers, and look, now I'm here. My wife, she's a comic, and I'm a game designer. When we met, it was murder.
Dun, dun, dun.
Any heart-to-heart fans? There were none.
There were none?
Anyway, I'm here at GenCon with a prototype board game based on time travel. I'm running playtests in the First Exposure Playtest Hall, which is one of my absolute favorite things about the convention. My game is actually an empire-building, worker placement, area control time travel game. My playtests are at 8 a.m., but anytime, really, because, time travel. How long does your game last, you might ask? Well, sometimes it ends before it starts. We don't know, because time travel. Mine is not the first time travel game created, nor will it be the last. Or maybe it will be the first one ever created. We'll know after I've finished, because time travel. I have a million of them. I played all the other time travel games I could as research. But my favorite 2 are Tragedy Looper and Loop Incorporated. Tragedy Looper pits one player against the others who are trying to prevent a tragedy from occurring. Loop Incorporated is a hand-building game where you're forced to replay the same cards in the same order every turn. It seriously turned my brain sideways, but in a good way.
Wow.
I've also been consuming as many time travel stories as I can get my hands on. Movies, books, TV, comics. There's a ton of material to choose from. Sometimes the time travel mechanics are mind-blowingly great, but sometimes the explanations are less well thought out. I mean, I get that it's science fiction and not actual science, but still. My favorite for its simplicity is from the movie Primer. It gets rid of the questions of multiple alternate realities altogether, and instead just creates short-lived multiple people. If you dig into the way the Time Turner works in the Harry Potter books, it basically works the same way. You have duplicates of yourself running around in a certain period of time, and then the duplicates go away and become the real person again.
Wow.
Mostly I've been looking at these time travel stories to make sure my game is using the best, most well-understood tropes, but also steering clear of the most overused tropes. I want to make sure that my game is at least nods to the most famous time travel story ideas. Can you go back and kill Hitler in my game? Maybe not. What I have discovered is there are two ideas that are almost all that are common with almost all time travel stories, and they are: A, there are unintended consequences to time travel.
Oh.
Ray Bradbury wrote a famous story, A Sound of Thunder, in which a time traveler accidentally steps on a butterfly in prehistoric times and finds that his entire world is different when he returns to the present. That idea has been popularized and evolved into the butterfly effect and used to describe chaos theory, which is really just pseudoscience metaphor for unintended consequences. The second super common idea is that people choose to go back in time to change their worlds for the better. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Here are some examples. Killing Hitler to prevent World War II. Making millions on the stock market. Making sure your hot teenage mom falls in love with your nerdy dad. Preventing the Japanese from destroying the entire U.S. Navy at Pearl Harbor.
Oh.
As an aside, there are so many time travel back to World War II stories, but I can't think of any World War I time travel stories. Why has no one written about preventing the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand? All of this reminds me of a social media theme we see all the time. What would you say to your 12-year-old self?
Oof.
The idea is that we could go back in time and tell our younger selves something that would help them, or at least ease the passage from childhood to adulthood. Be thankful for your parents. Don't do quite so many drugs. Don't worry, you will probably get laid someday. It'll get better. But I wonder how that scene plays out from the other side. What would it be like as a 12-year-old to have this vaguely familiar-looking middle-aged guy say, D&D will change your life? I think my response might have been, stranger danger, and run like hell in the other direction. Now, if I was smart enough to explain to my 12-year-old self who I really am, and he believed me, I think my younger self's reaction would have been, you have a time machine and you came back to tell me about Dungeons and Dragons? When did I become an idiot? Tell me how to make a time machine. It's funnier, I think, to go back in time and troll your young friends and loved ones. You know, tell them something that you can reference later.
Ooh.
You will see me 3 more times. Or, there's money in the banana shirt.
Ooh.
Thank you very much.
You did a callback.
I did.
You did. Nice. I did not see the callback coming.
So it's funny because I wrote all that.
Yep.
On the plane.
Right.
Out to GenCon.
Sure. Oh my God, you could do stand-up anytime now.
Right, and I found that all I needed to do to make it sort of flow easy is to try to write it in your voice.
Oh. All right.
So I just imagined Jackie saying these things, and it was like, oh, okay, I can write this.
Well, then I guess I can hire writers, can't I? If it's so easy to write in my voice.
Well, I mean,
but it's easy for you to write.
It's easy for me. We're married nearly 12 years. So.
Nearly 12 years.
2 more months.
2 more months. We'll be married 12 years.
So that's what I did on Saturday night.
Right? That was Saturday night. My friend Bob came down from Chicago on Saturday night, so he got to see it. He, in fact, recorded it. Oh, did he?
Yes, or he said he missed the first bit, but he recorded it on his phone.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
I missed the beginning.
Right. You're like, oh shit, I should be recording this.
I bet you comedy, the comedy people,
they might have recorded it.
They probably recorded it as well. I did the show one time, and I spoke of the purpose of superheroes or something like that. And I think I read my review of Wonder Woman.
At the door.
Oh, you know what it is? This is a package of all of my new enamel pins from Made by Cooper. It's Spooky Reading Euro pins and Meat Shield pins. So feel free to order. They're PayPal me $10 if you are in the United States of America, and I will send you $10 per, and I will send you a meat shield or a spooky reading girl pin. And if you are in another country, sadly, they're $20 each because postage is ridiculous. Anyway, welcome back to the show, Andy Ashcraft.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So, yeah, this microphone blows.
No.
Why don't you tell a story while I grab another microphone?
Okay. What can I talk? I can talk about some of the neat games that I played in the dealer room, demos that I played. One of my favorites, I think, was this game called Titan. And it's a game about mining the moon Titan, the moon of Jupiter.
Oh, wow.
And you have a drop ship, and you're basically... the game itself had this cool board that had sort of... It was sort of built like an arena, but it was meant to be the moon and then the outer layers of the gas, the sort of the outer layers of the planet. But it sort of stepped up as it went outside, as it went out to the outside. So when you started, you're on the outside ring, and then you can build pipes down to the next ring down, and then you can build pipes down to the next ring down, and finally into the core where all the juicy goodness that you want is. But in your pipes itself become this network of stuff, and everybody's building pipes around it, and you can use other people's pipes to move stuff around.
Oh, wow.
As well as your own pipes, but you have to pay them a little bit to do it.
Sure.
And so it was pretty cool, and it was kind of a worker placement game, but it had these drones, these robot drones that you could move around. But it was mostly just sort of a build a network and build and extract stuff from the planet game, and so I really liked that one.
Okay.
And it was an early prototype that the publisher was showing, just to see, I think, how people would react to it.
Yeah.
I have a flyer for it. It'll get kickstarted in next year sometime. So it's still a long ways away from getting kickstarted.
Oh, fair enough. And did you know what you were mining for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's the juicy goodness at the center of the planet was basically rocket fuel kind of.
Okay,
stuff.
dilithium crystals.
Yeah. But you could also get there was pollution would get generated, and you could sometimes suck up pollution which you didn't want.
Oh, right.
And so there was ways to get rid of that, and there was ways to build out your pipes better. So you could basically create this other sort of engine for.
Oh, okay. I have a theory about this this clicking that my Zoom, which is almost 8 years old now, and has traveled quite some.
It has a lot of miles on it.
It has a lot of. Might be time to get a new Zoom. It's Lori Kilmartin bought a new Zoom.
Yeah,
and it was and it looks pretty cool. So that would also be fun.
So that might be a thing
to have a nice new.
That might be a thing.
That might be a thing to get a new Zoom. Anyway, what else did you play?
Gosh, I played DC Heroes again with Barack and Mike.
Is that another role playing game?
Yep, a superhero role playing game. And I played Martian Manhunter.
Oh,
and they.
What is his? He's telekinetic.
He's a Martian.
Okay.
And he has he can go invisible.
Oh.
He can also go sort of intangible, kind of like the Vision.
Okay.
And he has
Kitty Pryde.
Kind of, yeah.
So he can pass
Pryde.
through.
Right. He's also really strong, and he can fly.
Wow.
Well, yeah. He's a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
He's a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
And but he's afraid of fire.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Is it PTSD or is there something else going on?
No. It's part of the Martian thing.
Okay, all Martians are afraid of fire.
They get hurt more by fire.
Okay.
So he's afraid of fire. And we were sort of the Justice League B League.
Okay.
Justice League. And so my friends were playing Booster Gold and
I don't remember Booster
and
Gold.
Blue Beetle.
I vaguely remember Blue Beetle.
They were sort of a jokery pair of people in the 90s and the early 2000s and the Justice League, and they were constantly just like the other more serious superheroes couldn't get them to take it seriously.
Okay.
But they were still very effective.
Okay, so they still stopped crime.
Yeah.
But they were just quippy?
Right.
Okay.
And, Booster Gold is from the future.
Oh.
And has some future tech at his disposal, and Blue Beetle is kind of a Tony Stark character, but funnier.
Oh, okay. How is that possible?
Has a super suit.
Okay. And a supercar? Does he have a VW Beetle?
He does. There's a Beetle machine. And, yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
So the three it was Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Martian Manhunter,
Zatanna,
who's
the sort of
head of hell?
magic using.
She's magic using.
No. You're thinking of Zatanna in the Marvel universe, who's
married to Deadpool.
No, you're thinking about a totally different character now.
I have gone deep into the long boxes.
You have conflated a couple of demon lady characters together,
right? Which
is not hard to do.
And because but
Zatanna is a top hat wearing magician.
Oh, did we read her?
Yeah. There was a very short-lived comic about a year and a half ago that we read.
Oh, I think I liked it.
Yeah. No, she's great. She does magic.
Did she live through time? And she was constantly she's been around forever, right?
She's been around for a long time, yeah.
So at one point, did she have? Did they want to burn her as a witch? And she was like, "You really should just leave me alone." Or who was that? I thought
I'm not
lady.
Sure who that is.
Okay.
But she, when she says her spells, she basically just says what she wants to happen backwards.
Oh, she's that.
She's that. She's the backwards speaking spellcaster.
Okay.
And so that was a character. Who else was there? Green Lantern.
People love Green Lantern.
Green Lantern can make anything.
He can make anything. What does he do with it?
Well,
that's always been my question. I don't know enough about Green Lantern's like Doctor Strange for me.
Okay.
I finally get Doctor Strange.
Yep.
But it took a while.
Right.
Because he's the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right. Green Lantern.
Yeah. Talk to me about Green Lantern.
Green Lantern is more like the Green Lantern Corps is basically like the Nova Corps.
Okay. In Marvel.
In Marvel, yeah. And in DC, it's the Green Lantern Corps. There's every solar system gets a Green Lantern protector. And
the Nova Corps, everyone has a fancy helmet.
Right. And in the Green Lantern Corps, everybody has a fancy ring.
Everyone gets a ring.
Right. And the ring allows them to project sort of solid green energy thing and make stuff out of the solid green energy.
And what would you make besides a hammer?
Well, you could make anything. In one case, in this game, he made a fan to blow away the fog.
Oh, okay.
Because the fog sort of rolled in. We were fighting demons.
Okay.
In a graveyard.
Oh, okay.
And
As you
so
do.
the spooky fog rolled in, and so he made the thing, and he also made at one point he captured a demon in an Iron Maiden made out of energy.
Oh, okay.
And then used that to hit the other demon.
Oh, he picked up the whole Iron Maiden and threw it at.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That is efficient.
Yep. It actually was.
Okay. Cool. But they can't make emotional things or can they make a plane?
Like sadness?
No. I don't know.
I make sadness with my ring.
With my ring. That is a different ring.
That's a different ring.
What about can they make Wonder Woman's plane? Could they make a plane and then fly in it?
You can make a plane.
Can they fly?
Yeah. Well, they can fly already.
They can fly already?
Yeah.
The ring allows flight?
Yeah.
And the ring allows super strength?
A little bit.
Okay.
And some toughness. Basically like the Nova helmet, gives them
it's like a ring of protection and
exactly.
A bunch of other things. So but they can already fly and they can already
right.
Are a little tougher
Yep.
and a little faster and a little all that.
That's right.
Okay. So then when they need to make something, so they don't really need to make a plane.
No. They might, but sometimes they make like they flew us. We got flown around in a bubble.
Okay.
So you could make. He made this bubble.
For everybody else.
Got inside, and then they flew us around.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fairly common.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
All right. I need to read more Green Lantern, which is not a cry for Steve Mandel to send me a giant book of Green Lantern. I want it to happen organically.
Right. But that was really fun.
It was very sweet. Yeah.
Because again, playing with Barack and Mike.
Right.
They were being silly funny. The Batman was an NPC.
Okay.
And he was trying to sort of guide us from the Justice League headquarters.
Non-player character.
And,
yes.
And Booster Gold kept hanging up on him.
Who was the game master?
A friend of
a friend of theirs.
Yeah.
Was it he being driven mad?
No, he was having fun with it.
Oh, good.
Because later on, he got back. Like at one point after we'd finished, Booster Gold called up to the headquarters, and Batman just hung up on him. Like,
oh, must be in between cell receptors. That is hilarious. So every day you'd get there at 8. So GenCon,
right,
as a thing, and then you also told me you were in the dealer room. How was the dealer room?
Oh, the dealer room was super fun. So that's where I played the Titan prototype, because that was the publisher sort of showing off a new prototype.
Oh, wow. So I guess the dealer room in a board game or tabletop game convention will have also places to play.
Oh, so many. So many. But it's like a booth. You go to a booth and they have some tables set up. And usually it's a little cramped, but it was fine.
Okay.
I mean, that's the nature of things, right?
Right.
I played a couple of other prototypes I really liked. Spirit of the Wild.
What's that?
Which was a 2-player game where you are you're collecting these stones, and the stones are for victory points, but they can also be used to basically summon or kind of use these spirit animal powers to collect more stones, of course.
Oh, okay.
And there's a fox character that you can use to block other people. So there's a fox that you can get moved back and forth from one side of the table to the other as a blocker. Mm-hmm. And that was nice. That's a nice little game. I actually quite liked that little game.
Okay. And was it quick?
It was pretty quick. Yeah, like a 20-minute game.
I like a 20-minute game.
Yeah.
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 I don't mind a commitment game, a game of like 2 or 3 hours, but it's not as much.
Right.
It's just a different day.
Yeah. It's a different game experience. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you play the little games as sort of like
party
as an
games
opening, as an opener, like a little palate cleanser between bigger games.
Sure.
Or end of the day, and after playing a big game, you're like, let's play a little game as sort of the
little apples to apples
to end off the night.
Right, where it's just mellow and you can still have conversation.
That's right.
And because some of the big games, like there was that zombie game, White Winter, or remember that one with the stand-up characters?
Hold on. I'm coming up with the name of it. It is Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter. Yep. And that one was so intense.
Yeah, it's super intense.
And at the end of it, I was like, I'm going to need something to be able to sleep.
One of the other guys told at the storytelling thing talked about Dead of Winter a little bit.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and he talked about how frequent it was that the dog character was the betrayer. Because that game has a betrayal mechanic in it.
Oh, that's right.
And one of the players might be working against everybody else.
Right.
And frequently it's the dog.
Frequently it's the dog for some reason.
Because people find it funny.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, note to self: the next time I play that,
exactly.
Get the dog.
Get the dog.
It's and because nobody wants to kill a dog.
Well, right. Like, why would? Yeah, exactly.
Why would the dog betray you? The dog doesn't betray you.
Right.
In real life,
can't betray you.
No, they can't. It's not their fault if they're grumpy. They're dogs.
And then I bought a game that I think
did you
going to be exactly the kind of game that you like, a little 20-minute game. It's a little Tangrams game.
What's that?
Tangrams are those triangles and things that you place down on the table to make shapes.
Okay.
We have a little set of Tangrams in the closet.
Do we?
I mean, I have it because I think, that'll be a neat mechanic to make a game out of. And then, lo and behold, somebody has done so.
Right.
And it's an Einstein game, though. And the little shapes that you play on the table, little triangles, all look like they are blackboards.
Okay.
So it's like, scrawls, mathematical scrawls and stuff on the blackboard. And you're putting them together to to have sort of make big insights.
Okay.
Einsteinian insights.
It's like those the poetry magnets.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That's actually a great idea. I could probably turn this into a magnet game. And because it's just hooking, it's just putting these shapes together to make bigger shapes.
Right, and if there's mathematical equations written on each tiny thing, it's not actually going to turn into anything.
No.
Not unless you have that savant that makes you go, I see something.
Right. And but what's cool about the game, the sort of the thing that's most charming about the game,
yes,
is that all of you are playing Einstein at different places in his life. So one of you is young Einstein.
Oh.
One of you is sort of the middle Einstein. One of you is old Einstein, and one of you is the Einstein that was like super popular like in the 50s.
Oh.
So there's like these everybody's playing these different Einsteins.
Right. And do you play them differently? Do they have different characteristics? No, they're just you just have a different card in front of you that says his hair is whiter.
Right.
His hair is less white.
Yeah.
This is where he divorced his wife and stopped giving her credit.
Right.
This is that guy.
Right. And I bought it because it came with another game, a 2-player game, which was Einstein versus Edison.
Oh.
And I don't know anything about that game except that it came free with this game.
Oh, okay. And I think that they were not of an age.
No.
I think Edison was much older.
Yes. Edison.
Yeah. Was probably 20
sorry.
years older.
Edison versus Tesla.
Oh, Edison versus Tesla.
Yeah.
Sure, that makes more sense.
That makes a lot more sense because they were actually
rivals.
And in that game, there's actually you can play Babbage and you can play the other people who are about the same in the same era.
Ooh, I wonder what that is.
Ada Lovelace.
Okay,
she's in the game.
Oh, she would be very old at that time too.
But no, I mean,
I thought she was 1870s because she was Lord Byron's.
Yeah, so yeah, there were. So she might be 30 years older than you.
Yeah. But neat.
Yeah.
And who cares? Right. It's a board game.
Exactly.
And I don't know why I know that.
And we'll figure out how to play it.
Yeah, Did that one look quick too? Or?
Yeah, the other one looks quick as well. And it's also 2-player. So you and I can just play.
We can just play that. Because we have several 2-player games that we have not played.
It's true.
And we have I got you that 1-player game.
Right.
Friday.
Right, which we played a lot of for a little while.
For like 5 weeks. We both were constantly playing that game. It's like solitaire.
Right. It's a solitaire deck building game. And it was great.
And it's a pretty fun game.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I brought it with me on the road one time about 8 months ago, and I couldn't figure out how to play it again. So,
all right. So we need a refresher.
I need a refresher.
Okay.
And
that guy, the guy that designed that, Friedman Fries.
Is his name?
It's his name, German guy.
Great name.
All of his games start with F.
Because his name is Friedman Fries.
And so he makes sure that all of his games are illiterate.
Right.
For
the Friday, Frogtown.
Yep. There's a ton
Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, there's a ton of them, and they all start with F.
Oh, that's funny. It's you could do that. All of your games could start with A's.
Nope.
Andy Ashcraft.
Nope.
How's the Hero Instant? Did you play any Hero Instant?
We did not. I didn't take it with me. I traveled light this time.
Yep.
When I travel with the Hero Instant, I have to travel with banners and maps and dice and figures and.
Right, because it is a role-playing game.
It is a role-playing game. It's my superhero role-playing game.
And you can go look at it at theheroinstant.com.
Yeah, but I haven't messed with that site in a while, so I don't necessarily want to drive people to there because it doesn't look very good right now.
All right, well, if you can fix it,
I will,
email me.
One day,
right.
I will get it up and going again and make it a concern.
Because I like that game.
Yeah, no, I do too, and I think about it all the time. It just falls off of the to-do list.
Right, because you have new art.
I do have new art. I got new art from one of my ex-students.
Right, because you're also teaching some game design classes.
I teach some game design classes at the New York Film Academy.
And that's
fun.
That's fun. You
game
get to talk about
and interactive storytelling, interactive writing.
Right, and you get to talk about games.
Yep.
And stories.
Yep.
And then games again.
And then I get to play these games that these students make, and they're awesome.
Right. The students make games, and you come home and say, Oh my gosh, they nailed this one.
Yeah.
And they create worlds that are interesting.
Create worlds and interesting worlds, and so I get a lot of enjoyment out of that.
And you bring sort of the same, or you've been bringing sort of the same 4 or 5 games to help them learn different mechanics, right? Like you bring Scotland Yard.
Right. For the class that I teach in the fall,
right,
I bring Scotland Yard, and we do an exercise around Scotland Yard. I bring,
which I've only played once now,
right,
and it was kind of fascinating.
I played it on Joko.
Oh, that's right, I played it on Joko, on the Joko cruise.
Yeah, I really like Scotland Yard. It's so simple.
And you just have to narrow down. You're chasing Jack the Ripper.
Right. One of you plays. No. That's the variant game.
Oh, okay.
Called, Letters from Whitechapel.
Okay.
you're playing. One of you is a robber.
Okay.
And the rest, everybody else plays detectives.
On Scotland Yard.
It's a one versus many game.
Oh, that's right. And you run around.
All you have to do is basically it's a hidden information. The robber only reveals his location like 3 times over the course of the game.
Right.
And the detectives have to figure out where he is based on the modes of transportation that he's using.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, exactly. Is he on the tube, or is he on a bus, or is he in a taxi? And that's the information that the detectives get.
Right, 3 times a session.
No, once. Every turn they get that information.
Oh, they get that information. Mode of travel.
Mode of travel. They get the mode of travel information every turn, but they don't get his actual location except for 3 times.
And the robber gets to travel on water too, doesn't the robber
that's
get
right.
water travel?
And that's
water
right.
Taxi?
And so there's a ferry.
Okay.
That runs down the Thames because it's all in London.
Right.
And the robber can take that ferry if he can get to one of the ferry docks.
If we can get to one of the ferry stations. Awesome. Yeah, I did like that game. And then you play sometimes Cash and Guns.
Cash and Guns. I have an exercise around Cash and Guns.
Right.
Which is fun. And Yahtzee.
And Yahtzee.
which the Yahtzee / King of New York. Or King of Tokyo.
That's right.
So I play King of Tokyo. Do
you do King of Tokyo or King of New York?
I think I actually have been doing King of New York because it's a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
But it's basically because it's Yahtzee.
Yeah, it is Yahtzee. Remember that? What was that game that had all the dice and you rolled it at the same time, and we thought it would be fun, and it was just really loud.
Oh, right. I played that at GenCon like 3 years ago, and I was like, it was super fun at the convention.
Right.
It's a game. It's a space game. You play like 4 people to a team, an 8-player game.
Right.
3 people or 4 people per team, and you're basically driving these starships, and it's a starship combat game.
Right.
But it's real time, so you roll the dice and give the dice to other people to roll, and you're all doing this in real time and trying to communicate with one another, and so it gets very shouty.
Right, it's super loud.
It's super loud and super shouty because you're basically shouting orders at each other, and the other people across the table are also shouting orders at themselves at each other.
Right. It is. Yeah, that one was. I wanted that to be more fun than.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then I brought it home, and we played it once with some people that we didn't know very well, and I think that was.
That
was the crux of the issue.
Right.
I want to give that one another try.
Okay.
With friends.
Right, like with people you've known for
1,000
generations. Right. They're like, come on.
Right.
Phil Adler can take it.
He could take it.
He's been yelled at in a game before.
Right. You just make him the captain, and he'll just yell at everybody, so it'll be fine.
He'll love it.
He will love it.
And
so we just need to play that one again.
Right.
I've been loath to give it up because I feel like I haven't given it a fair shot.
Right, and we have a big cupboard full of games.
Yeah,
and
I need less games. Honestly, I need to clean it out, but I don't.
But
like
I thought you did.
I cleaned it out a little bit,
and that's fine. I think.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, you kept everything you wanted, right?
Yeah, but I have more games that'll fit in the closet now. So. So now I have a problem.
Well, that's fine. We'll figure it out. And if you kept everything you wanted to keep, I'm supportive.
Okay.
And
well, I appreciate your support.
Sure. What the heck? And easy enough. It was the least I could do, as Andy Ashcraft likes to say.
It's
the least I could do.
The least you could do. And you always do.
The least I could do. It's been an hour. So
are we already at an hour?
We're already at an hour.
Well, this has been lovely.
It has been lovely. This is more board game talk, you guys.
More board game talk.
You love board game talk, Rangers. And so we've done it. Jackie Cation over here, Andy Ashcraft over there. We talked about board games and GenCon, and it was wonderful. And I did forget. You know what? So close to being over, you guys. I'm so sorry.
There.
Not quite there. Ha ha. And Cards Against Humanity.
You can't get rid of me this quickly.
Or me.
Oh, right. So I was telling you yesterday.
Yeah.
That Cards Against Humanity, which is a game that I'm not a big fan of.
Well, no, it's the same game.
Fine.
It's apples to apples, but dirty and offensive.
Right, and also
it was made for 16 to 25-year-olds.
Yeah, I think so. I think more 13 to 25-year-olds. Sure.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But who's letting their 13-year-old play?
Oh, nobody needs to let somebody play a card game.
All right.
But the company though is kind of awesome.
The company's amazing.
They're constantly doing stuff to like give back to the community and create make the world a better place.
Yes.
So their booth, because they have a big Cards Against Humanity booth at the convention. Their booth wasn't selling anything. They were just signing people up to vote. They were just registering people to vote
in Indiana.
Which
was amazing.
Yeah.
This is like using your powers for good. Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
And in between fisting jokes. So good for them.
Right, exactly. And their booths are always like super bare bones. They never do anything. They have a big black and white sign that just says Cards Against Humanity that they hang up, and that's it. They don't do any other kind of like...
Right.
And,
so in this case...
they just
really
used it
did.
And they just had people there with forms to sign up and...
It helped, and they're just like, please vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to say that. Please vote. And go to vote.org. I think it's ivote.org, and you can check, make sure you're registered, and take back the night, you guys.
Yeah.
So, Rangers, thanks so much for listening to the show, and as you know the rules out there, take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?